Hi, this is EOS, and this is going to be the first of my videos for free plugins. This one covers a Wavesfactory plugin called Snare Buzz, which simulates the sound of the chains on the bottom of a snare vibrating when you're playing drums or anything else. So let's get right into it. First, we're going to try it out adding it to some toms, since it's going to be really obvious and you'll be able to hear very clearly what it's doing. So I have this tom loop, right? Let's go ahead and I'm gonna just leave the sub range in it for now. Might move that later when I'm mixing the song, but let's focus on this snare buzz. So you can kind of hear that as I'm playing, it's adding based on the dynamics of this tom channel. I have it on different amounts of buzz. You have a couple controls here. You have tightness, so obviously how tightly you tune the chains on your snare. There's types, so there's 5 different kinds in here. Let's go ahead and turn the mix up all the way so you can really hear what's going on clearly. I could even see myself using this as like a creative intro tool on a whole track. Let's try that real quick. Let's throw Snare Buzz on the master. Turn it off. Turn the mix up all the way. This is currently what I have just a couple loops to chop up. So let's try using this as a creative effect now. I'm going to automate the mix down from 100 to nothing. Or what if I used it on the intro here? So it could be used as a creative way to move from kind of sounding like hi-hats, snare, the bottom of a snare into your actual beat. But that's not what we're here to do. On the toms, let's go back to focusing on this. So there's your mix, and then you have an output control for volume. This is kind of a VU meter. I tend to find when I'm using this on a track, it's hitting much lower on the meter. I don't need my snare buzz to hit anywhere near unity up here. Oh, actually, this is just the output of the overall track. So this isn't actually as helpful for me as a regular VU meter would be, but it's nice visually. And then so here, let's go back to 100%. We've listened to the different types of snares, and let's go through what the tightness feels like really quick. I will say once you're 100% tight on a lot of these, I can start to hear some fragments. But the fragments often sound really, really nice in the mix. snare would be vibrating with the toms if you were playing them as part of the same kit. So this is creating this seeming connectedness between these two and a more of a realistic feel. When it switches to these toms, it doesn't sound that it is especially obvious. Maybe there's no snare content here. So let's try Snare Buzz here on this set of toms, and then let's try it putting it on the bus that has these loops on it. So I'm gonna listen to this just fully the sound of the chains by themselves next to this drum beat and see what I think fits in what I feel like fits in best. I'm actually gonna match it to snare 2 to try to create even more fluidity throughout this track. But I might spend more time analyzing the different kinds of snares and the different studio rooms and the mic distance before I would do this maybe more in depth on a track. The mic distance acts kind of like a volume control, but it's also a tonal control and a room control. So let's do that really quick. Right about there, I can really start to hear some artifacts as well. Let's try to solo some of those out. That one note in particular was bothering me, so we might as well just get rid of it now. I don't care if that note is strong necessarily in the toms themselves, so. And that may have just been a note that was inadvertently coming over from the toms themselves, I would guess, not necessarily from here, but somehow how it processes audio does create some little fragments that can be annoying. But 90% of the time, I really like the sound this adds. So I think it's starting to sound pretty cool and realistic within the mix. So let's listen to it. I have one set up here just on these loops by themselves. Let's hear how that sounds. It's subtle, but it is giving some clarity and extra like live sound to the drums. I would probably never just leave the loops like this in a track in general, so I would maybe apply this to a loop to give it more of a live feel, print it to audio, and then do some more chopping to get it how I wanted. So it still is relevant in that situation. I like the sound of really close mic drums, so I'm going to leave it at that. If you like this video, hopefully you check out some of my other videos. Thanks for watching.